The sun was barely up when Ada wrapped the bowl of jollof rice in foil and tucked it into her pink food flask. The aroma of smoked turkey and ripe plantains filled her tiny kitchen in Yaba. She smiled to herself. Kunle will love this. It was his favourite meal, and today marked their 3rd anniversary. No fancy dinners, no hashtags, just a simple surprise. Ada glanced at her reflection before heading out. Neat cornrows, clear lip gloss, the gold bracelet Kunle bought her last Christmas. She slipped it on with a small grin. Love didn't have to be loud, it just had to be true. As her bolt ride weaved through the morning traffic, she rehearsed how she'd walk into his office at Ethos Tech, his eyes lighting up when he saw her holding his favourite food. "You didn't have to, babe," he'd say. She clutched the flask tighter, her heart dancing. When she arrived, the receptionist hesitated. Kunle's in a meeting. Should I call?" "No need," Ada smiled. "It's a surprise." The young woman's eyes flickered with something Ada couldn't place. Was it discomfort, pity? She brushed it off and walked confidently toward the glass-walled conference room. That's when she saw her. A woman. Tall, skin like honey, hair in soft curls, laughing, too loudly. Sitting across from Kunle, leaning just a little too close, Ada stopped in her tracks. Tenny. Her heart skipped. That name used to haunt her when she and Kunle first started dating. "My ex is a bit dramatic, but it's over," he'd told her once. "You have nothing to worry about." Apparently it wasn't over. Kunle hadn't seen her yet. He was laughing too, tapping something on his iPad, relaxed like nothing was wrong. But Ada couldn't look away from Tenny. Something about her outfit, the mustard blazer, her high ponytail, felt off. Then she saw it. Around Tenny's neck, resting just above her collarbone, was a delicate gold necklace with a tiny, diamond-studded A. Ada's throat tightened. That was her necklace, a family heirloom from her late grandmother. It had gone missing 3 months ago, and Kunle had told her she probably misplaced it during laundry. She'd torn the apartment apart looking for it. She cried over that necklace. Now, it was around Tenny's neck. Ada's hand trembled. The flask in her hand suddenly felt like a burden. She turned to leave, quiet, fast, but her phone slipped from her hand and clattered to the floor. Heads turned. Kunle looked up. So did Tenny. "Ada?" Kunle stood quickly. Tenny's smile widened, slow and wicked. Ada bent down, picked her phone and stood. Her eyes didn't blink. Her voice was calm. "Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt." Kunle stepped forward. "What are you doing here?" Ada smiled. It was the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes. She held out the food flask. "I brought you lunch." And then, just before she turned to leave, she looked at Tenny again. Not the woman, the necklace. She didn't say a word, but something in her gaze said, "Now I know." The glass door hissed shut behind Ada as she stepped out of the office, but her heartbeat was still thundering. Her legs moved on instinct, carrying her out of the building, past the parking lot, past the security man who called out, "Madam, you day go." She didn't answer. The necklace kept replaying in her mind like a broken record. A star for Ada. Her grandmother had given it to her before she passed, whispering, "This was mine when I first fell in love. Wear it when you're sure someone truly loves you." She wore it the day Kunle asked her to move in. Now it was wrapped around Tenny's neck like a trophy. Her fingers curled. How did she get it? Her bolt hadn't arrived yet. She sat on the low concrete fence in front of the building, her breath coming in short bursts. The door behind her swung open. "Ada!" Kunle's voice. She stood, turned slowly. He was walking toward her, tie slightly loosened, lips parted like he was ready to lie. "What just happened in there?" he asked. "Why are you acting weird?" She raised an eyebrow. "You're asking me that?" Kunle rubbed the back of his neck. "Tenny came in for a partnership pitch. I didn't even know she was coming. HR invited her." "Oh really?" Ada said quietly. "And the necklace? The one around her neck? Does HR wear that too?" He blinked. "What?" "You know what I'm talking about. That necklace belonged to me. I lost it 3 months ago. You said I was careless." Kunle's face tightened. "I don't know what you're implying." "No?" Ada stepped closer. "I'll spell it out. Either Tenny stole it or you gave it to her." He opened his mouth, then closed it. Silence. The kind of silence that says everything. Ada shook her head slowly. "Wow, all these months I thought I was paranoid. that I just had trust issues. But you've been playing me the whole time. Ada, she raised her hand. Just don't. Her bolt arrived then like divine timing. She turned and opened the door. Ada, wait, Kunle said again, voice now low, almost begging. Let me explain. It's not what you think. She paused halfway into the car. You're right. It's worse. Then she got in and shut the door. But as the car pulled away, Ada didn't cry, not yet. Instead, her mind began stitching threads together. That time he was working late, that locked drawer in his desk at home, the sudden unexplained charges on their joint account. And then something else clicked. Tenny's startup. Ada remembered the name now. It had been struggling for years, but just last month she posted a photo in Paris. Business class ticket, designer bag, and now, her necklace. Kunle wasn't just working with his ex, he was funding her. The evening sky burned orange as Ada stared at the wall of her apartment, her untouched food flask still on the counter. Everything felt off balance, like the floor beneath her was shifting. She had loved Kunle with a quiet intensity, never loud, never desperate. She believed in the kind of love that showed up on hard days, the kind you built slowly. And now, that love felt like a lie she had memorized too well. She opened her laptop and typed Tenny Adewale into Google. The search results were modest. Links to her startup's outdated website, some old press from a failed fintech partnership. Then Ada saw a recent Instagram post. Tenny smiling on the balcony of a Paris hotel suite, captioned, New beginnings. #blessed. #boss moves. Ada clicked through her page. New car, private dinners, a Cartier watch. Where was all this money coming from? Then she noticed a pattern. Every time Tenny posted something extravagant, Kunle had an unexplained transaction or claimed he was investing in a tech partner. Ada leaned back in her chair. Her gut had always told her something was off, but she kept making excuses. He's tired, he's stressed, he's under pressure. Now she knew better. Her phone buzzed, a text from Kunle. Please, let me come over, we need to talk. She ignored it. Then another message. You've misunderstood everything. Tenny and I are strictly business, I swear on my mother's grave. Ada scoffed. He only brought up his mother when he was lying. Just then, her phone buzzed again, but this time it was a DM. From @amarachi.codes. Hi, I hope this isn't weird. I saw you earlier at Ethos Tech. I used to intern there. If you ever want to talk, I think I can help. Ada blinked. Help with what? She replied. Hi, I'm listening. What do you mean? Amarachi responded immediately. Let's just say, you're not the first woman Kunle's done this to. You deserve to know the truth. Ada's heart skipped. Before she could type another word, her screen lit up. An airdrop request popped up. File name, receipts.pdf. She accepted. The file opened slowly. Dozens of screenshots. Bank transfers from Kunle to Tenny. Late-night messages. I can't sleep beside her anymore. You'll always be my first. I'll get the money soon, just trust me. Ada's mouth went dry. This wasn't just betrayal. It was calculated deception. A knock sounded at her door. She froze. Another knock, this time louder. Ada, it's me, Kunle's voice. Please, open the door. Her hands curled into fists. For the first time, she wasn't scared. She was angry. She walked slowly toward the door, calm, steady. She didn't open it. She just spoke through the wood. You think you're the smartest man in the room. Pause. But Kunle, I just got the receipts. There was silence on the other side of the door, heavy, loaded. Then Kunle's voice, low and desperate. Ada, please. Whatever you think you saw, it's not what it looks like. Ada laughed. It wasn't warm. It was short, sharp, like something breaking. You know, she said, I used to think it's not what it looks like was the line people used when they got caught. But no, it's the line cowards use when they think they can still lie. She walked away from the door. Inside her, something was hardening. She opened her laptop again and copied all the files Amarachi had sent into a new folder titled Evidence. Just seeing it gave her strength. She didn't know what she was going to do with it yet, but she knew she wasn't going to stay silent. Another knock. Ada, please, open the door. Let me explain. Kunle's voice was softer now. I messed up. I thought she could help the company. She came in when we were struggling. I gave her small funding. The necklace. She asked for something special, and I didn't think. You didn't think I'd find out? Ada shot back from the living room. There was no answer. I wore that necklace the day I moved in with you, she continued, her voice trembling with emotion. I trusted you. I cooked for you, prayed for you. I defended you when my friends said I was too good for you. Still no response. Ada marched back to the door. This time, she opened it. Kunle stood there, eyes tired, his usually neat shirt wrinkled. She stared at him. Why her, Kunle? Of all people. He hesitated. I didn't plan it. Tenny she reminded me of who I used to be. Before the pressure. Before the struggle. Ada nodded slowly. So she reminded you of your ego. That's what this is. Not love, ego. He stepped forward. I'm sorry, Ada. I swear. I want to fix this. She looked him in the eye. You can't fix what you chose to break. Kunle's jaw clenched. So what now? You want to post the screenshots? Humiliate me? Ada stepped aside. You should go. He didn't move. She tilted her head. Unless you want the neighbors to hear everything. He turned and walked away, slowly. As he descended the stairs, Ada closed the door. But something in her clicked. This wasn't just about hurt feelings anymore. It was about knowing her worth. She pulled out her phone and texted Amarachi. You said he's done this before. I want to hear everything. The reply came instantly. Okay, but meet me in person. It's deeper than you think. Ada paused. Something told her this wasn't just about Kunle's betrayal anymore. It was about uncovering a pattern. A much darker one. Amarachi waited at a quiet cafe tucked behind a bookshop in Surulere. She wore jeans and a plain white tee, but her eyes were sharp, like someone who had learned too early that the world wasn't always kind. Ada arrived in silence. No makeup, no earrings, just a scarf tied tightly over her hair, and the weight of the truth pressing on her shoulders. Thanks for coming, Amarachi said, gesturing to the seat across from her. Ada sat without smiling. I don't have time for small talk. Tell me everything. Amarachi nodded and leaned forward. You're not the first woman Kunle has used. Ada's face tightened. When I interned at Ethos Tech 2 years ago, he was different, charming, helpful. At first. Then he started asking me to stay late, offering mentorship, small gifts, nothing too obvious. Amarachi's voice was steady, but her eyes flickered. One night, after a late strategy session, he kissed me. Ada's stomach turned. I told him I wasn't comfortable, Amarachi continued. He apologized, but the next day, my access to certain projects was revoked. I was left out of team meetings. Eventually, I was let go. Ada blinked. He ruined your career. And I'm not the only one, Amarachi said. There's a girl named Shade, worked in accounting. Same thing. He funded her side hustle, promised her partnership, then ghosted her after 6 months, left her with debt and NDAs. Ada swallowed hard. And Tenny? Amarachi scoffed. Tenny was always different. She wasn't a victim. She was a co-conspirator. She knows how to play the game. She's not with Kunle because she loves him. She's with him because she knows how to use him. The words hit Ada like cold water. She had been fighting heartbreak. But this was corruption. I have documents, Amarachi said, pulling a flash drive from her bag. Old HR memos, expense reports, a voice recording of Kunle admitting he made deals off the books, using company funds for unofficial projects. Ada took the flash drive, her hands suddenly steady. Why are you giving me this? Because I thought I was alone, Amarachi said quietly. But now I see, you're not scared, you're angry, and sometimes that's what it takes. Ada stood. What he did to us, it can't stay hidden. Are you going to the press? Ada shook her head. Not yet. Then what's the plan? Ada looked out the cafe window, a reflection staring back. I'm going to start where he thinks I won't, she said. His board, his investors, his entire brand is built on trust and integrity. Let's see how loyal they are when they see who he really is. As she turned to leave, her phone buzzed. A new message from Kunle. You think you're clever? Be careful. You don't know who you're messing with. Ada didn't flinch. She stared at the message for a long second, then deleted it. He was finally afraid. The following week moved like a storm. Ada didn't rest. She didn't cry. She strategized. With Amarachi's flash drive clutched like a weapon, Ada drafted a detailed report. Financial records showing unapproved transfers, voice memos, NDAs and names of past employees silenced through threats and manipulation. She titled the file, "For Your Reputation, Urgent," and attached it to emails addressed directly to Ethos Tech's board of directors and two of Kunle's biggest investors. She didn't add drama, no insults, just facts. Cold, clear, undeniable. By 3 p.m. that day, she received her first reply. Subject: Received. Will investigate immediately. Please keep this confidential. The following morning, a LinkedIn alert lit up her phone. Kunle Adewale is no longer CEO at Ethos Tech. No announcement, no farewell post, just silence. But silence, Ada had learned, is loud when someone powerful falls. That evening, she stood in front of the mirror and looked at herself. Really looked. The soft sadness in her eyes had hardened into something stronger, not bitterness, not rage. Clarity. She had survived a storm disguised as love, and she had won. 2 days later, Tenny appeared on Instagram Live looking rattled. Gone were the designer clothes and curated captions. Her eyes darted nervously as she addressed the rumors. I was only involved professionally. I had no idea about Kunle's actions. Please don't drag my name into this. People love to attack successful women. Ada watched in silence. Tenny wasn't just rattled, she was cornered. Later that night, Kunle called. She didn't answer. He called again. Then he texted, "You've destroyed everything. I hope it was worth it." She finally replied, "No, you destroyed everything. I just showed them the blueprint." 3 weeks passed. Ada didn't return to the woman she was. She became someone new. Stronger, smarter, quieter, but not weak. She started hosting small weekend meetups with women like Amarachi and others who had been manipulated or ignored in the workplace. They didn't call it a support group. They called it reset. Because sometimes a reset was the beginning of something better. One afternoon, Amarachi pulled her aside. "You know," she said, "you didn't just bring him down. You lit a fire for the rest of us." Ada smiled faintly. "I didn't light it. I just stopped putting it out." On a rainy Thursday, Ada visited her grandmother's grave for the first time in months. She brought fresh flowers. And the necklace. It had been returned in a brown envelope by an anonymous courier. No note, no apology. But Ada knew who sent it. She placed the necklace gently beside the flowers, whispering, "You were right, Mama. Real love doesn't need to be begged for." A single tear slid down her cheek, but it wasn't from pain. It was release. As she walked away, the clouds began to clear, and a soft beam of sunlight broke through the trees. Ada didn't look back. She didn't need to. She was walking forward, and this time, she wasn't carrying anyone else's lies with her. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Thank you. We hope to see you in our next video.